Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. Friends, US markets were flat and only S&P was up about 0.5%, and the earnings that came out from IBM and Bank of America both were flattish, and in fact in case of IBM the numbers were below expectations, and in case of Europe most of the markets were up about 0.5 to almost 1%. And the key thing to watch out is that the 10-year bond yields for Spain has actually come down to almost 5.54. Remember that this 10-year bond yield had actually shot up to almost about 6.2 at the time of that bailout crisis, but now they've cooled off quite a bit, which is definitely quite comforting. When we look at the Asian markets, most of them are marginally up to about 0.3 to 0.5%, probably because of the statement from the Chinese Premier that the overall growth forecast for China is going to be quite good and the economy is in shape, and people are also watching out for the Q3 GDP number for China, which is likely to come in at about 7.6%. In terms of flows, friends, we have seen that the markets have not been moving much over the past 4 to 5 days. They are consolidating and the flows have actually dried up, and even yesterday the FIs were biased to the tune of meager about 48 crore, and the domestic institutions were sellers to the tune of 248 crore. Brent crude has stabilized around 113, so no major really movement on that front. On that note, let me invite Shaivar to take us through important F&O cues and the possible ideas and strategies that we can look at in F&O market.
Good morning friends. This is for the 8th day in a row. We have seen that the Nifty future has reduced open interest by say around 0.92 lakh shares in yesterday's trade, and we have also seen that for the 8th day in a row mini Nifty has added an open interest, so that has been clearly indicating that the focus has been shifting to smaller risk appetite as markets are unable to take a clear direction and trade in a range of say 500 and 650 on the lower side and 500 and 720, 750 on the higher side. Now what we've seen is that the PCR ratio has again jumped back and has been at the mark of 1 currently. On the options front, implied volatility has further decreased by say around 50 to 150 basis point, which has been indicating that 5,600 on a closing basis would act as a good support for the market, and we may see some buying emerging at lower levels. But what we have seen is that 5,800 call option continues to add shares in open interest, and now it stands with 1 crore 17 lakh shares in the open interest, which is the highest number of shares. So that probably would act as a hurdle for the market in the coming days if we have a look at the broader picture. Whereas on the put side, we have seen addition been taking place in 5,500, 600 and 700 strikes. So we'll need to watch on like 5,600, as we have said, that would act as a good support. So we'll need to watch on which direction the market breaks out. Now from intraday perspective, we have identified 3 stocks. Axis Bank is looking positive, so one can go long on Axis Bank with support of 1137.75, whereas India Cement is also looking good, so one can buy with support of 96 rupees 50 paisa, whereas Bata India is looking bit weak, so one can go short on that with resistance of 954 rupees 35 paisa. Also in yesterday's trade, friends, we have initiated IDFC call option of strike 150. One can maintain a stop loss of 3 rupees 30 paisa and eye a target of 6 and 8 rupees. Thank you.
Friends, back home markets have been quite sluggish over the past 4 to 5 days, and we've seen that the Nifty is not able to cross 5720, 5750 levels for quite a while. So it remains to be seen what kind of triggers would actually take the market to a further level of maybe 5750 plus. And as also expiry is approaching over the next 2 weeks, and we've seen a huge amount of call writing, around 5,800 calls to the tune of almost about 1.17 crore. That also remains a key hurdle for our markets. Today, in terms of the news which we are tracking, first of all, friends, 2 companies are going to be announcing numbers today. First of all, Dish TV, which had actually gone up yesterday, and we believe that the company will report a net loss of about 10 crore. And what is important to note is that because of the digitization deadline which has been there from October or November, we are seeing a lot of buying interest in some of these broadcasting companies, and also the fact that the FI limit has been relaxed for these companies could be a positive trigger. So overall the bias for Dish TV is quite positive. Also Ambuja Cement is likely to come out with numbers, and the net profit that we are looking at is about 335 crore. Also friends, one has to remember that there are reports that for both Ambuja Cement and ACC there is a possibility of some kind of royalty linked to their sales which could be made applicable, and which is why we are seeing some weakness in this two stocks over the past few days. So once we have this numbers, this is a development that we will be watching out for. In case there is an imposition of the royalty on the sales turnover, then it could be a big negative for these two stocks. And Tata Motors is likely to come out with 6 new launches for the domestic market. This is over and above few launches that they have lined up for the global markets. So we think that this could be a positive news for Tata Motors. One can go long there with a stop loss of 260 and target of 273 to 278. Mahindra also is looking at launching a new model in the SUV segment, which is named Rexton SUV. This is over and above their XUV 500, which is already doing well, and they've also launched a compact model of SUV. So overall we are seeing a slew of launches from Mahindra. The stock has corrected in the past few days, so we think that it's a good candidate for going long with a stop loss of 810 and a target of about 852 to about 868. Friend, yesterday we had seen that some of the companies like IRB Infra, Jain Irrigation had corrected quite sharply because of the concerns that the Kejriwal statement on Nitin Gadkari and because of some of these companies' association with that group could actually go down, like it had happened in case of DLF. But we believe that these allegations are not that serious and the stocks have corrected, so we might have a good pullback opportunity for these stocks. So particularly for IRB Infra and Jain Irrigation, one can play for some amount of pullback in today's market. In other news friends, 2 companies are moving out of the F&O list. Those companies are Mphasis BFL and Piramal Enterprise. So there could be some pressure on these 2 companies. Also friends, there are reports that Reliance Industries is in talks with a Venezuelan firm to explore the heavy crude. Also there are reports that the overall investment in KG-D6 basin could be freezed by the government. So there are controversial news which are coming as far as KG-D6 basin is concerned, and the stock has been languishing. So we believe that this stock could remain under a bit of pressure because of these developments. And in case of Kane India and HDFC Limited, because of the fact that their weightage in MSCI index is likely to go up, there could be some positive move in both these stocks, so one can look at trading in these with a positive bias. That's it from all of us friends. Have a great trading session. See you tomorrow at the same time.